Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Cindy Duay, the Vice President of Clinical Ancillary Services here at Terrebonne General Health System. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today as we celebrate National Donate Life Month and honor our organ, tissue, and eye donors as well as their families. Terrebonne General has always played an active role in advocating for organ, tissue, and eye donation, realizing the impact it has on the donors' families, the transplant recipients, and their families. It is through this dedication that we have taken the initiative to educate our community about the benefit of donation by collaborating with the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency, otherwise known as LOPA, and Southern Eye Bank.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us today as we celebrate all the donors who have given the extraordinary gift of life. As Cindy mentioned, Terrebonne General is committed to advocating for the importance of organ donation in our community. For the last 15 years, we have set aside a day in April to recognize the importance of organ donation for those waiting on the transplant list and for those who have made the ultimate sacrifice and donated the gift of life. Across the United States, over 104,000 people are waiting on a transplant, and 1,900 of those are children. On average, 17 people die every day because not enough organs are available for transplant. In Louisiana alone, over 2,000 individuals are waiting on a life-saving transplant. 13 years ago, Terrebonne General took a major step in our public commitment to this initiative and unveiled a very special Wall of Heroes. The wall pays tribute to those heroes who gave the gift of life through organ, tissue, or eye donation. The response from our community has been overwhelmingly positive. I am proud to say the Wall of Heroes now has over 164 photos, which include our 2022 donors whose families are here with us today to remember their loved ones and celebrate their lives as well as the many lives that they have restored. In addition to the Wall of Heroes, we also support families through hosting honor walks. During honor walks, our staff quietly line our hallways to honor the donor and their loved ones. It is an extremely rewarding and a privilege for our staff to be a part of that celebration. Terrebonne General employees, led by our amazing leadership team, share the passion for the importance of organ donation. Being in the medical profession, we see firsthand the impact that the gift of life can make on patients and their families. While the grief of losing a loved one is immense and at times almost unbearable, it can bring comfort to know that they are living on in the world and enriching multiple lives because of the selflessness shown in their own death. Today we have a heartwarming program that will share firsthand accounts of how organ donation has changed lives in our community.
My name is Lana Stevens, and I am a community educator and volunteer specialist with LOPA, the Louisiana Organ Procurement Agency. LOPA is happy to be a partner with Terrebonne General and at another event this year. So it's been a lot of years that we've had this partnership, and we really love coming out every year. Thank you all for joining us today. I just kind of wanted to give an overview of our Donate Life Month and kind of the artwork that you may see. So you can see we have some posters and some graphics all over our tables, and you can come take a look at it after. And this year it's decorated with like a frog and lily theme. For National Donate Life Month of 2023, Donate Life America was inspired by the natural world of a pond coming to life in the spring. Frogs and toads are a sign of healing and renewal, and water lilies represent hope. The lily pads we see on the surface of a pond are part of a much larger plant rooted below the water. The water lily plant reminds us of the support and collaboration needed for hope to bloom. This National Donate Life Month, we ask you to be a part of this interconnected, life-sustaining community by registering as an organ, eye, and tissue donor, by becoming educated about donation, and by championing the Donate Life cause. Please join us in the Terrebonne General Health System community and on social media to help us honor donors, recipients, and their families and caregivers. We will also be recognizing the clinical teams continuing their dedicated work during this time to help honor the gift of donation and save the lives of those waiting for a second chance at life. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I would just like to say thank you all for the opportunity to be here and to be part of this celebration. to honor our donors, to honor the hospital and LOPA as we all work together to share the gift of sight, the gift of life, and to ease the pain of others, both through grief process and through the physical issues that may be leading them to need an organ, eye, or tissue donation. I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and it never fails. I come to these events, and I'm astounded at the connections that people make through organ, eye, and tissue donation. The compassion, the professional care of the hospitals, of the nurses, of the families who interact together, of the LOPA staff, and even the iBank staff. Working together, we make the connections that LOPA talked about for the lily pads. We make this world a different place, and we couldn't do it without you. Without you, there is no change. You have made the world kinder and the connections of our hearts much more loving and caring, and we really are so appreciative of all of the gifts you've all given. Thank you very much. And I almost forgot the most important thing. Last year, your hospital actually had 8 families who were able to say yes to cornea donation and giving sight to about 16 people. So thank you so much.
So as much as we appreciate LOPA and Southern Eye Bank having people here to speak to you about the importance, the next 2 speakers really drive home why we do what we do and why we are so pro-donation. I'd like to welcome Ms. Diane Weber to the podium as she would like to share her experience as the mother of a donor.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's good to be here. I appreciate everything that LOPA has done. I became what's known as a donor hero mom 5 years ago. My son Dylan lost his life, and he kind of made the decision for us because he'd already registered to be an organ donor. We were very proud to learn that. I've had great experiences since, heartbreaking, of course, because you lose a child. But I've also gotten to know several of his organ recipients, and one in particular, his heart recipient, we've really formed a strong bond. And it can be something as simple as we have bad weather here, and he calls me and says, "Hey, how are you doing? Hurricane's coming. Are you okay?" He lives up north, so he's not used to this, and it's just a bonding thing for us. I also got to know very briefly Dylan's liver recipient. I was very touched that he sent me some information and told me that a year after he received Dylan's liver, he was able to actually walk his son down the aisle. It means so much to my family, to the people in the community, to donate organs. It touches everyone from the donor's family to the recipient's family and everyone around. You really don't understand the connection that you have with someone until this happens to you, and you have to make that choice. I appreciate everything LOPA has done. They keep in touch with us. They offer so many services beyond the fact of, you lost a loved one, you made this donation, you try to make sure you did a good thing. They continually keep you in the loop of, hey, you've done great. Everything is kind of geared to let you know that you are a hero's family member. And with that, I can't say enough about how I appreciate LOPA, and I would encourage everyone to please register to become an organ donor. It's very simple, and I'm always here to reach out to help anybody who needs the help and to do it. Thank you.
And next, I'd like to welcome Gavin Bennett to the podium as he would like to share his experience as a recipient.
Hi, my name is Gavin Bennett, and I am 12 years old. When I was 7 years old, I was in a four-wheeler accident where I pulled a pot of grease and it burned all over my back, legs, arms, and my neck. I spent many weeks at a burn hospital in Jackson, Mississippi, where I received many surgeries to help heal those burns. If it wasn't for the skin that I received from the donors, I wouldn't have healed like I did. Because of people like your family who have passed away that chose to be organ donors, I was able to be healed. It was my first layer of skin to protect. I was so grateful to be a recipient from our donation. Very shortly after, and within the year, I was also back to being a normal, active kid. I played baseball, soccer with my friends, loved to hunt with my dad, and swim with my sister. Thank you again so much for letting me be here. In memory of Rory Boudreaux.
To the common passerby, it's a reminder that life is not everlasting, and we most all likely, at some point, will be faced with a decision of whether to change lives through organ, tissue, or eye donation.
To the hospital staff member, the flag is a symbol that they can take pride in, knowing their institution supports the life-saving work of donation and transplantation in philosophy, policy, and action.
To the nurses, whose feet are tired after spending long 12-hour shifts taking care of the donor, this flag is a thank you. Thank you for having compassion for your patient's grieving family, and the several lives your patient will hopefully change through organ and tissue donation.
To the donor family, this flag is representation of the many ways their loved ones continue to live on in the world, not only in the hearts and minds of those that personally knew them, but in the quiet gratitude of complete strangers touched by their generous gift of life.
And finally, to recipients and to those that continue to wait on transplant lists, this flag is a beacon of hope, a reminder there are people out waiting and willing to say yes to organ and tissue donation and capable of reaching through their grief to help someone else in need.
Today you have heard firsthand stories about the importance of organ donation. If you are not an organ donor, we encourage you to add your name to the donor registry. It is also imperative, as you heard from our donor family, to speak to your family about your decision to be a donor and make sure they understand why the gift of life is important to you. We will conclude our ceremony with our annual flag-raising ceremony and a special butterfly release outside. We invite family members of donors to take a butterfly and release it in honor or in memory of a special loved one or friend. After the butterfly release, we'd like to continue this celebration. Please enjoy some refreshments and then take a moment to visit our Wall of Heroes to view your loved one. Thank you all for sharing Terrebonne General's passion for the importance of giving the gift of life and reflecting with us this afternoon.